Grant Denyer now.
It's Grant Denyer.
The gold logie this year. Oh my God, it's Grant Denyer.
And our mom, Chezzi Denyer. She's really crazy.
It's all true.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi Denyer.
Oh,
Hey! Yeah.
This is a big one.
This is a big one.
This is a big one.
We are awake at the crack of dawn. In fact, it's so dark outside.
G'day, Dawn's crack. It's great to be in you.
Don't be too loud because all our kids are asleep, hopefully. We have a huge guest today, so big that we've had to bump George off.
Yeah, George.
George had to work, so he couldn't join us.
He's a selfish prick is what he is.
Poor George.
Trying to make a living.
So we are talking today, we're dialing straight into New York to talk to number one best-selling author, Gabby Bernstein. She's the author of, I think she's got 9 books now.
Just 9.
Yeah. And
She's a self-help queen.
if you've ever heard of the book The Universe Has Your Back, or if you've ever heard the phrase, she is a spiritual leader for today.
Yeah, mate. We first discovered her, or you did,
I
on
did.
Oprah's podcast, these Soul Sessions.
Yes, I was listening and it just popped up one day and, I was going through a bit of a tough time, and then I just started listening to all her podcasts. She's got a podcast called Dear Gabby, and I started watching her meditations. She's got some great meditations on YouTube, on her YouTube channel, and really easy to follow. And I just really like her. I watched her TED Talk and I like her style. Her actual style. I like her style.
Yeah. She's like the Jennifer Aniston of self-help.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
She's so cool.
She, incredible books. We've incorporated many of the things that we've kind of learned along our journey have come from her teachings.
Yep.
She's a pretty straight talker. She's an evolved being. This is a big get for our little podcast. We normally only dick around and make fun of George, but now we have to put our big boy interview pants on and get all serious. And I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I'm a little nervous.
But very excited. And it looks like she's coming through right now.
So enjoy this. This is Gabby Bernstein.
So, Gabby, I first discovered you in 2020. I was driving along in my car and a podcast popped onto my radio. It was Super Soul Sundays featuring you talking to Oprah. And I'd just been through a miscarriage, and I just everything that you said just really resonated with me. And it was the first time, and I'm getting quite teary now, but it's the first time that I think I felt hope in what felt like a really dark period. So connecting with you now is so special. Thank you.
Well, first of all, sister, I understand that suffering, and I've been there myself, and I'm just so happy that I was able to be there for you. I've been there. That episode of Super Soul has been like almost a blanket that has held a lot of mamas. So happy I was able to be there for you.
Thank you. It was very special. And also when you spoke about, seeing birds outside and then looking up their spiritual meaning, I nearly flipped my lid because I am so obsessed with that, seeing birds and flocks of birds and looking them up. So, So I introduced my husband, Grant, to your book, and I actually bought it for him at the time, The Universe Has Your Back, because he'd just left radio and was feeling a little bit lost. So I think the messaging, going from fear to faith really helped at that time.
Yeah, fear to faith is a tough one because I think when you dealt what in your eyes is a bad hand in life, or something goes wrong, and then there's just the let go and just go with whatever you're being served, sometimes can feel like quite an abrasive feeling. When it hurts, when whatever act or action has happened to you that's negative and it's affecting you, you're supposed to just kind of roll with those things. That's often tough for people to deal with. How do you encourage those to just roll with the hand that you're dealt at the moment?
Well, I think that what you're saying is accurate. Sometimes there's moments in life that are just going to be a lot longer to grieve. And having that quick flip of our perception is actually not going to be healthy. You kind of need to be in the experience of what's coming through at that time and not judge it. As it relates to getting yourself grounded in the spiritual experience that you're having when things don't work out the way that you want, I believe that the more we open our heart to the creative possibilities of what we can learn and how we can grow and how we can heal more, then we actually open a door for a possible miracle, which is really simply the shift in our thinking. And listen, I've been through a lot of different tough stuff in my life. I think many people have been through way worse. And I can only speak for myself. In the difficult moments of my life, and much like we just heard earlier, I lost a baby last year at 5.5 months in utero. I hadn't birthed the child yet. And that was a moment that could have been really breaking point for me. And I recognized in that moment something really miraculous, which was that the faith that I had built up for decades, the spiritual faith, the resilience, the strength internally, the trust in self, was there for me like a pillow. It literally just like I fell into it. And it was one of those moments where you're like, oh, wow, everything that you've been counseling women on, just like we heard here, and men, and been so in the belief of, when something really tough happens, it works. Doesn't mean that I'm not still grieving that experience, but I have been able, I very quickly was able to allow it to be seen through a different lens. And that goes with a lot of other difficult experiences throughout my life. And I think that in any moment we have choice, and we can choose to seek solutions. We can choose to open our heart to possibility. We can choose a spiritual perspective. We can choose to rely on a higher power. We can choose to surrender and surrender more. And again, that's not always going to happen right away. It's not always going to be easy when something horrific happens. But for me, it's the life I've chosen. It's the way of living in the world that I have chosen. And thankfully, it's been very beneficial and effective.
The power of...
And
sorry to cut you off there.
I honestly, I've written so many books about that topic. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go to the next question.
What's the difference between surrender and giving up and not trying? Because the actions are similar, but their intention is very different.
So a lot of times people think that surrender is like giving up, but it's not giving up. It's giving over. And so when I say giving over, it's giving over your will. It's turning over your ideas, your needs, your timeline, your expectations to a higher power of your own understanding, to a intuitive guidance system within, to a presence of love around you. Because when we have a spiritual practice and a spiritual faith of any kind, whether it be religious or maybe you're a reader of my books, or you've just opened your heart to the universe and just that there's an energy out there supporting you, then you have this opportunity to recognize, okay, then it's not just me. I'm not alone in this. And so when I want to give something to surrender, I don't have to give it up. I can give it over. And the idea of giving it over is about surrendering it for a higher purpose, praying for the highest good for all, and trusting that in that powerful and profound act of surrendering and giving it over, you're opening the door for infinite possibilities, far beyond what you thought you could even attract into your life.
And I love that. I love waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror and saying, okay, universe, what will you have me do today? What will you put in my path? I've found that very helpful because I've always been a bit of a control freak. I think a lot of us are.
I mean, listen, it works. Like I'd like to give you a real-time example. I've been having I run a team of 30 people. I'm also writing a book. I also have a toddler. I also have my husband's our CEO of our company. There's a lot that goes into my day-to-day life. And in terms of running that team, it's a lot of new people. And there's just been sort of like a lot of chaotic misalignment. And for 2 weeks, I just kept being more and more stuck in that misalignment and stuck in the story of like, why isn't anybody helping me? Why isn't this getting better? Blah, 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 just sort of flipping my shit. And last night, I just literally got on my knees. I said, God, take this from me, reorganize this for me, help me, because I can't do this alone. This is going to make me fire everybody and start over. And I just couldn't do it. And so this morning I woke up, normal day as usual. I sat down to my desk. I had a big meeting with my team. I didn't really know what was going to happen. There wasn't any big plan. And I just said, really, like literally I heard an inner voice say, do what you do. And I got on the call with my team the same way I would in front of an audience or at any other company. And I showed up and I shared my vulnerable truth. And I said, listen, guys, I have been super activated by all the miscommunication here. And I've been running this business for like the past 2 weeks as my 10-year-old part. And, I want to get everybody back on the same page. Let's get back into our OKRs and clear our objectives and work together. And I was literally like, people pay me to come to their companies and do this kind of leadership and development. I better fucking do it with my own company, And it was a miracle. Everybody on the call was just breathing easily. They were connected to me. We felt clarity. We felt connection. We felt calm together. We established a place of safety and boom, it was back on track. Now, would that have happened without that prayer? I don't think so. That prayer put my point of attraction, my point of intention back into solutions rather than problems. And when I was out of alignment with my prayer, I was just constant. I was like literally throwing myself against the wall, just like, looking for the problem, looking for the problem, looking for the problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
But I think for many, asking for help doesn't come naturally, because I think in a world where we're trying to portray a level of perfection of ourselves to the world, whether that be through your Instagram profile or whether it be in your office place to your work colleagues sitting next to you, we're all trying to look like we're leveling up. We're trying to look like we're doing well, like we're not struggling. Yet, and I know growing up as a young man, I didn't feel like there was a lot of help, or you could ask for help because it looked like you were weak, or you were struggling, or you were not capable. Therefore, you should not be gifted the next level in life. So it was a very difficult thing to wrestle with, to ask for help. But in doing so, when you can eventually come around to doing that, it's so powerful. It's so powerful to know that you're not alone. And if you can find the bravery to ask for that help, it's absolutely incredible what can come your way. However, not everyone is necessarily massively spiritual. A lot of people have trouble with the word, God. Some people can find it better replaced with the universe or nature or evolution. Find another word for it, but it works. It goddamn works.
It really works. And I often say, I don't care what you call it. I just care that you call upon it. And listen, I think that's why my book, The Universe Has Your Back, is so popular. I mean, that of all my books will probably to this day forever be my greatest spiritual contribution to the world, because it gives people the freedom to establish what spirituality means to them. It allows the reader this opportunity, like it says on the subtitle, transform fear into faith, and to do it on your own terms. I give you a story, I give you guidance, but I'm not saying this is how it is. You decide how it is.
Yeah. And
that, I think, for those folks who didn't formally identify as spiritual, that book leaves them walking away saying, I believe there's something more.
Back in 2005, you gave up the booze. You had a real dark period and you decided that you would head down a spiritual path. Did you picture that you would be here where you are now?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I was brought up very spiritual. So even when I was using drugs and alcohol, I had the stack of self-help books next to my bed. And I was a big devotee of Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay and Shakti Gawain. And I was seeking. And I always knew inside of me that spirituality was going to be a guiding force in my life, even in my darkest hour. And that's how I was brought up. I was brought up visiting ashrams and being named by the gurus and meditating. And so having that imprint was like really a gift that was given to me because it was just genuinely there. And when I got sober, it was immediate. Immediately, I was like, all right, I'm clean. I want to go help people help themselves.
Because I often find that intuitives, which you are obviously incredibly intuitive, and spiritual people, we can sometimes numb ourselves or numb those feelings. And I hear that a lot from people. Do you have to get sober to be successful on a spiritual path?
Depends on how much it's affecting you. If your use of substances is numbing you, or it is powerless and out of control and unmanageable, if it's blocking you from your intuition, if it's disconnecting you because you're physically out of alignment, then it may be something to contemplate and consider. I am not one to preach sobriety. I think it's a wonderful way to live. Feel so blessed that I hit bottom at such a young age to get clean so early. But I genuinely don't know that, I don't believe that you have to be sober to have a spiritual path. I think that wherever you are in your journey in life, you can have a spiritual path.
Sometimes when they look at someone like you, Gabby, with all your wonderful success, they feel like, wow, she's so evolved, she's so developed. You know, she writes books, she speaks to thousands of people all over the globe. I can't be that. But we can find a common ground in our weakest moments, in our failings, when times have gone wrong. You know, sometimes I know that when we've shared the many, many mistakes that we've made, we find a connection with an audience, and then it feels like it's possible to put one foot in front of the other and climb out of that dark hole. Would you mind sharing with us at your lowest moment what that looked like for you and why you realized you had to do something, because it can inspire others, you know, in their situation? What did it look like for you?
Well, I've had a lot of low moments, starting with my getting sober, but it actually was a breakthrough moment in my life. I like to think that the Amma, the hugging saint, says that when an eggshell is cracked from the outside, it's broken. When it's cracked from the inside, it's reborn. So when I look at the moments throughout my life where I've had a breakdown, they've been breakthroughs, and I don't judge that in any way, shape, or form. And I'm very clear that the successes I've had in my career as a writer and a speaker are really a reflection of my own personal development, my own personal commitment to self and to growth and to alignment and to peace and to happiness and to a sense of inner safety. Because I have made such a devotional commitment to really relish in my own inner life, I have had the safety inside to be vulnerable and authentic with the world. And in that authentic truth, you go first as the speaker or the author, you go first and you give permission to others to say, yeah, me too. That sounds really resonant. And you also give people the opportunity to witness themselves in you. So I do my own work. That's what I do, my own work on myself, and that's why it works.
And I love that. All right, manifesting. Can you give us some tips for people who are new to manifesting?
Well, we manifest who we are. We manifest what we believe. We manifest how we feel. And so the thoughts that we think create beliefs that we carry, and those beliefs create energy. And that energy that we put out is what we attract back. So if you want to attract more of what you do want, then you must become very conscious and aware of the thoughts that you keep thinking, the beliefs that you're carrying, and the energy that you're putting out. And in my book, Super Attractor, I give a lot of methods for undoing some of the belief systems and really reprogramming the way we think and adjusting our feelings inside so that we can become a point of attraction for more of what we do want rather than what we don't want.
That's important for somebody who has bad self-talk.
That's me. I'm
Sorry to throw you under the bus.
I'm a little savage. That internal dialogue is something that is very limiting. But I have a very a very strong fight to try and turn that around into positive talk. I got to be honest, if I look at myself in the mirror and I want to say nice things to myself, looking at my own face, it is very, very difficult. It's one of my strongest challenges. I can say some things internally and be positive, but if I'm looking at my own face in my own eyes, I find that a very unnatural experience to try and be loving, non-judgmental, kind, and encouraging. I don't know why I find that so difficult.
Would you like some help with that right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Would you be open to checking in with that feeling of what it feels like when you look in the mirror and you're trying to extend some love?
Yeah, of course.
What does that feel like inside? Like, is there a physical sensation inside of you?
I
Or a
think,
feeling?
well, it's a sadness, to be honest. I'm welling up now as I'm talking about it. I think it's to those words that would come to mind would be, you're not good enough. You're unlovable. You're not very smart.
Where do you feel that in your body?
In my chest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you know about that part of you?
I think it comes from. It feels like I'm a very little boy, a very little boy when I feel and say those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And how long has this part of you been around? Little guy, right? So it's been a long time.
Yeah. I think it feels like it's kind of my default operating system. Yeah, I default back to that little boy.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything else that you know about it? Is there a time or an experience, or you don't even have to get too specific, but can you sense into it for yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's feeling very small. I think I feel very unheard. I feel very. I feel like I'm a distraction. An annoying distraction.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I want to extend a lot of love and compassion to that little boy, and I understand him. I've definitely, my little girl knows that experience. I would love to know, does that little boy part of you know that you're here? That the adult resource part of you is here?
Sometimes, yeah.
Right now, does he know?
Yes, yeah.
He does. Okay. So how do you, your adult part, feel towards the little boy?
I feel like I need to wrap my arms around him. Yeah. And just bring him in.
Could you close your eyes just for a second, and could you just visualize that with me? Just let me know when you have your arms around him.
Yeah, I've got him.
Okay. And would you be comfortable asking him what he needs?
Yeah, sure. What is it you need? I think he just needs his needs met and his voice to be heard. He's stiff. He won't cuddle.
Okay.
His body is kind of just stiff, and he doesn't trust to put his arms around me.
Yeah, he doesn't trust yet. That's understandable. Yeah. Now, when he's, stiff like that and he needs his needs met, how do you feel towards him now?
I feel very sorry for him. I feel like he needs to be nurtured. He needs to be listened to. But I think he needs just undying love. No matter who he is, no matter what he says, no matter how he acts.
Internally, can you just say that to him? Can you just let him know?
Yeah.
That you want to give that to him? If that's the truth?
Yeah, I think unconditional love is, I think, what he needs.
And what would that look like for him to have unconditional love? Even if it's just like an image, like he's being held, or what would that look like?
I think he's off being he's trying to entertain everyone. He's trying to make everyone happy, and not everyone likes that. It's abrasive to some people. and he's just trying to brighten everyone's life. But it's grating people.
So what would he need?
I think a safe environment, a loving environment to
Okay.
be his own personality.
Great. Okay. So is there a place maybe in your home or even in your bedroom or in your backyard where that feels really safe for you?
As a kid?
Anywhere. It could be now, it could be as a kid, it could be something that feels safe, particularly right now.
Yeah, okay. On our family farm. So where my grandparents and uncle live, yeah.
Okay. Now, could you just turn inward for one more last time and just see if he wants to come with you? And if he does, visualize bringing him there with you?
Yes, he does. He would very much like to go there.
Okay, cool. Can you bring him now? Can you bring him with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're hand in hand. He's coming.
Okay, he's got your hand now. I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, so there's more connection. There's some connection. Can you make a commitment to him that when you notice him, you can go get him and bring him to the farm?
Yes, I can.
How does he feel right now?
He's smiling. He's standing taller. His shoulders aren't shrunk. He knows there is whenever things get bad, then they have the farm together. They can go there.
Right on. And he has a little bit more trust in you right now.
He does. Yeah. He's smiling and he thinks that's a fantastic idea.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to just thank him so much for being with us. And I want him to stay here if he wants to, if he feels comfortable, to stick around for the rest of however long he wants to be around you. And I want to just acknowledge your courage and how beautiful that was.
Well, thank you, Gabby. That our eyes are leaking. But
I'm dripping snot everywhere. Trying to-
what is that? Well, that's a lesson. Okay, so what we've just experienced there, is that something that can be adapted by anybody who who can relate?
Yeah. So what that is internal family systems therapy, which is something that was founded almost 4 decades ago by my very close friend, Dr. Richard Schwartz. And I have used it as in my own therapy with my therapist for a decade. And then most recently, last 2 years, have been trained in the model as a practitioner, not a therapist. And I'm happy to share with you. I'm writing a book about it so that you can use it in your own day. I'm helping make it self-help. The book is called Self-Help, and I'm helping to democratize this model so that people don't have to be necessarily in therapy to experience a taste of it in the therapy sessions where you're going to do the deeper work. But in a moment-to-moment basis, we have the capacity to check in and choose to turn inward, and we can get curious about who's inside, and then we can create some compassionate connection by asking, what do you need? And
Amazing.
Is that because a lot of our limiting beliefs as an adult and the things that may be affecting us negatively are something that was created at the core when we were very young, and then going back to the core to try and fix
all of
it?
our inner critics and limiting beliefs and the things that you might say, like a part of me gets really angry, or a part of me you said it, needs to entertain everybody else to feel good enough. And those are little children inside of us. They're childlike parts that have been in there for a really long time. And what you did was really profound, which is what you went right to the little boy, right? And not everybody can go straight to the little person, the little person, but you went right to him. And that's usually the exiled part, the little children inside that were traumatized or told they weren't good enough or inadequate, or just felt like they weren't seen or heard, which was the language that you used, which was gorgeous. And the ability to go there so quickly just has a testament to the personal development and the personal awareness that you have. So I want to just acknowledge you. And then we build up all these different forms of protection around those little exiled parts of us. And those are called protector parts. And that's like, people pleasing and entertaining everyone and controlling things. And remember, I was talking about running my team like a 10-year-old, controlling because I can't handle being out of control. And so we live our lives most of the time, 99% of the time in those protection mechanisms, just like put out that fire, manage this, manage that. And when we start to slow down enough and check in, we can actually bring our adult, resourced, undamaged, compassionate, courageous, calm self to those parts and help them out, which is what you just did.
I love that.
Probably no doubt that I became an entertainer, then host a family.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, our full, often people who have the most trauma in their history often become very successful because they're really working hard to prove something to the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that we're running out of time
We
here
have,
with you, but
a minute left.
We've got a co-host, George, who has recorded a question because he couldn't be here because he has a job.
All right, let's hear it, George.
Here's George's question.
Hey Gabby, it's George here, Grant and Chezzi's so-called executive producer for the It's All True podcast. I literally just get to sit in on these episodes and get juicy goodness and try to apply it to my own life and edit it minimally and put it up on whatever platform it needs to go to. I'm their bitch, essentially. But I have one question for you, Gabby. How do I stop comparing myself to others? I know it's broad, but I hope you can answer that in whatever way you wish. Thank you, Gabs.
Well, I just answered it with both of you. So the comparing, again, is another protector, right? It's like, I'm not good enough. I'm going to compare myself to others so I don't have to face that I don't feel good enough inside, right? And so judgment of yourself or others is a protector. So I would say use the 3 steps I mentioned. Choose to check in. So notice when you're comparing, choose to check in, turn your attention inward. What does it feel like? What do I notice? What do I know about that part of me? And then curiosity questions, go deeper with that. How old are you? What's your gender? Any stories you want to tell me? Get a little bit of a connection to that part of you that feels like you're comparing, and then ask it what it needs and really compassionately connect. And that's the check-in process.
And I'm going to do that right after we finish. Now, Gabby, you're coming to Australia next month. I'm coming down to see you in Sydney, and I'm so excited. I'm bringing a team of girlfriends. Where can people find you? Where are you? Where are all your events? Are you excited?
I think you can go to deargabby.com/Australia, and you'll see my dates at the end of April for Melbourne and Sydney. And then May 2nd, I'll be in Brisbane. So those few days at the end of April and into May. And I shout it from the rooftops, guys. I want as many people. I don't come to Australia all the time. Let's just pack the house. So do me a favor, tell your people, get everybody out there. I'll say that again. Do me a favor, tell your people, get everybody out there, and let's, it's going to be beautiful. I hope to see both of you.
Yes.
Both of you.
Absolutely. If there's more of this coming, I'm there. Don't you worry about that. I don't want to ruin the girls on tour thing that's going on over here.
You can do you. You go solo. Yeah. Or you go to a different city.
That's right.
Your books are amazing. Your tour has to be seen to be believed. You are life-changing. You are inspiring. You've gifted us with your gifts, which have changed our lives dramatically from the bottom of our massive hearts from deep down under here in Australia. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we love you.
And thank you so deeply for trusting me to connect to that little boy. And I'm just really proud of that very powerful moment. And it's been beautiful to witness. Thank you.
Thanks, Gabby.
Take care. Thank you so much for your time. We'll let you move on to the rest of your tour, but we really appreciate every second you've spent with us. You're very generous.
Bye, beauties. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Wow. I didn't mean to make that about me.
We didn't even have any tissues ready.
Oh my God. We had all these questions and we didn't even get to them. I was so nervous.
Oh, I think she's like a modern day Jesus.
I think so.
Yeah.
She's a female Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty profound, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, my inner critic is going, why did you take over and make that all about you?
No, but I think that was really beautiful because it allows people who are listening to do it with themselves. And that's incredible. It's very generous.
But I think it was a wonderful example on something that you can kind of do yourself. Like she did a little bit of coaching there, right? But you could kind of go back to those feelings. All right, what am I feeling? Can you see yourself as a small version of yourself, a child version of yourself? Okay, what is that child feeling that's different to how you're feeling? What does that child need to hear? Say those words to that child. Okay, what kind of promise can you make to that child?
It's very powerful. I've been listening to some audio books that kind of step you through that. And it is a process, and it's very profound. Can be very profound, and you got there straight away. So
yeah, well, I've done a fair bit of work, and I've done a little bit of work in this area. And often when something comes up that's in life that's a bit hard, or it's challenging, or you're butting your head up against it and you can't seem to move whatever that blockage is, then returning to that child is a great way of doing that, because a lot of the beliefs that are running us now were formed back then, you know.
I wonder,
and that's funny, that kind of, I've never said that before, needing to entertain everyone, you know, to ensure there's happiness. You know, I obviously had a strong need to do that as a kid. I don't know whether it was the people-pleasing aspect, or to create a calmer environment where I was, or...
Maybe you felt like you only got attention when you entertained.
I think that's a big one. Yeah. I think that I only felt like the love was coming my way if I made people laugh, or, you know, and that's not necessarily true, but that might have been a belief that I formed, you know, at the time. And to be honest, you know, I've had several professionals like sort of Gabby, but not of Gabby's level, say to me, yeah, you're on television entertaining for a reason, you know, because something was created in you as a little kid, you know, that felt like that you had to do that to make people feel a certain way. And then when we look at like why, you know, I really cherished being a weatherman, and that was because you got the 3 minutes after the news, and the news was so dark and heavy and sad and horrific. You know, I felt it was my duty to uplift everybody after the horrible 5 minutes they've just had to endure. And so why I was, you know, the class clown of Sunrise. You know,
Were you a class clown at school?
I think so.
I can't imagine you, because you're so quiet.
I'm only quiet around you because you're so loud.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't think I was the class clown at school. I think I just talked a lot, but I was probably a bit silly.
But how is it? You mentioned birds, and I laughed because
I know.
noticing birds now, and that was created by her, and then we noticed the correlation between birds, the moods in the house, someone enduring something, and it's different birds at different times.
It's pretty special. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to going to see Gabby and taking my girlfriends.
Yeah.
We might send you to the Melbourne show.
Yeah, okay.
Or to the Brisbane one.
What you're telling me is you don't want to hang out with me, which is lovely.
Well, I
13
do want to
years of
hang out
marriage,
with you.
and get the fuck away from my event. It's me and Gabby, not you, GD. You girls are going to be on the wines on the way down. Woo!
Well, that was a very important question that I asked at the start. Do you have to be sober to be spiritual?
That's
no.
a really good question.
The reason why I asked that was
really good
because
question.
I know sometimes if I get really overwhelmed, like, and I'll eat a bag of Easter eggs or whatever, but what am I numbing? What's the feeling that I'm numbing? You know?
I think
there's
you
something in
only
that.
indulge when your energy is low.
Well, there is that, but
When you're tired, like when the kids have been up all night, or we've just had a run of like really exhausting days.
and that does happen. But also I went to a past life healer who said that in a past life I was quite spiritual. It was like a Chinese past life, and I liked the grape juice a bit much.
Oh, the wine?
Yeah. And then also, remember Astro Tash?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she did my chart readings, and she said that somewhere in my past, I don't know, something or other, she said I had something that popped up that showed her that I'm deeply spiritual, but in past lives I have numbed that spiritualness with substances, so alcohol or overeating, or I don't know, it could be anything.
Well, remember like, remember when Sunday couldn't come along until that's right. They said you had to stop drinking red wine.
The grape juice. No, she said, remember, I could taste the taste of stale wine.
That's right. And then the moment we stopped it, then bang, she was born. So we had to stop repeating past live
Mistakes.
habits.
That's right. So I think there's something in there.
Do you think you need to be completely not sobriety? What's the word?
Sober.
Sober?
I don't. I think that I need to understand that alcohol sometimes can lower your vibration.
Yeah,
so
that worries me.
So having, just have a couple of drinks, that then inhibits my ability to be intuitive. And I believe that. Yeah. Right. Well, that was deep.
No, I've been thinking, I think you're right, because I think everyone, no matter who you talk to, anyone who plays in this field, all say you got to operate at a higher vibration, right? So you got to, and when you're vibrating at a higher vibration, then you attract the things, the good things.
Yes.
That is destined for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The universe opens up to you. And so, I'm worried that, when you drink, that vibration comes, is reduced. So therefore, if we are an antenna, then we're not, we're not receiving all the good signals.
It has to lower your vibration because it's a depressant. Alcohol is a depressant.
Yeah. But
So-
I got to be honest, I don't know if I can get through life without it. I don't know if I can be married to you without it. Maybe that bit I need numbing is numbing you, just numbing you out of my head. No, I'm only joking.
That's awful. But anyway, considering the work that you've just done on your little child.
I'm high, man. I'm high. I'm fixed.
I'm not going to.
I'm fixed. Gabby fixed me. So I'm not broken.
Do you know what I kept looking at, Gabby? Her lighting. She just looks so
God. She
clear.
looks
We
incredible.
look
All
foggy.
right. I'm making this promise. We're going to get some better lighting for next episode. Look, if we're this close, we're all right. We'll just do the episode like this. Yeah. Hi, welcome to Grant and Chezzi's podcast.
Don't. You've just popped a blood vessel in your eye.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. All right. I think our kids are getting up.
That was cool.
That was so good.
We're not worthy, Gabby. Thank you.
We love you, Gabby.
See you next time, everyone.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed it.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi Denya.
Bye bye.